unfucking believable. Let's fucking go. Wow. Unfucking believable. Are you fucking kidding me? The Green Bay Packers just went down in Dallas and fucking took Mike McCarthy's job, Dan Quinn's job, and I have no words right now. The Green Bay Packers just defeated the Dallas Cowboys in the Wildcard game, and let me tell you something. The Dallas Cowboys have won 16 straight home games at AT&T Stadium. But you know what? The Green Bay Packers have now officially have more playoff victories at AT&T Stadium than the Dallas Cowboys since AT&T Stadium has opened. Unfucking believable. They become the youngest team to ever win a playoff game. Their average age is 25 years old. It's just what a fucking day for Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and the company. They absolutely fucking ate, and I mean ate, Dan Quinn's fucking lunch today. And let me preface something. I did not expect any of this. I did not think Green Bay was going to win this game. It was either they were going to get blown out or they were going to fight tooth and nail and either, Dallas or Green Bay would come out. But I would have never, ever expected how that first half went for this team. And let me tell you, Matt LaFleur, what an absolute fucking dog. He's been just on another level offensively calling plays these past 3-4 weeks. Like, the man is fucking dialing up great plays for this offense. And, for Jordan Love, what a fucking dog. He is fucking playing out of his fucking mind right now. Let me explain why. His last 9 games, he has thrown 21 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Now, let me have you. The first half of the season, he had 10 interceptions. But ever since then, the last 9 games, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's playing absolutely lights out fucking football right now. And it's just unfucking believable. This is no doubt, one of the greatest wins, as a fan of the Packers. But I can imagine for the franchise and the organization, like, it has to be one of the greatest wins ever. And let me tell you, there's just something about, regular season wins are fucking awesome, but playoff victories as a fan is just next level fucking happiness, let me tell you. And I'm just to the fucking moon right now. I will not be able to sleep tonight because, you know what? The Green Bay Packers just became the first 7th seed to win a football game in NFL history. Albeit it's only been 3 years since the 7th seed has been around in the playoffs, but let me tell you, I fucking won tonight. Unfucking believable. And let me just start off with the first quarter. Dak Prescott had 0 passing yards in the first quarter. I would have never fucking expected it. I don't know how. The whole game, like Greg Olsen said, the whole game, it just seemed like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott something felt different in the air. The vibe was off. I don't know what it was. It kind of felt at times that they were force feeding CeeDee Lamb, and also they weren't giving him the ball enough. It was just like the perfect, like, weird vibes, and I was all for it. 0 passing yards for Dak in the first quarter. Like, are you fucking kidding me, Joe Barry? Like, man, Joe Barry, God bless your fucking heart, because in my eyes, you're getting fired. But these last 3 weeks, he somehow, some way, has completely changed how this defense is running. That he's dialing up blitzes for Quay Walker. He's putting guys in the right position. Like perfect example, Darnell Savage getting the fucking pick 6. I've never been so fucking hyped, in a long time. When Darnell Savage, of all people, the man who, as a first-round pick in 2019, had unlimited potential as a safety coming out of Maryland, has, by all accounts, underperformed that. He's been a nice player, a nice role player, but for him to get a pick 6 it's all credit to Joe Barry. He put him in the right spot for that play. And, man, I don't know what it is that, the last two games with Dak, he's thrown 2 interceptions in this game and 2 interceptions last year against the Packers. Man, I am on top of the world right now. Let me tell you, when Jair fucking Alexander, who was quite literally a game time decision, a 50-50 call, when he was activated today and he got that interception, which I wish that would have been a pick six. I don't know why they ruled him down, when he caught the ball, but man, I was fucking jumping for joy. I could not believe, man, I'm just so happy for Jair. He's been through the fucking ringer, because of him, and then also because, injuries. But because literally this week he had a freak injury in practice where he rolled his ankle and he was good. And then when the injury happened this week at practice, it was like, oh yeah, he's not going to play. And for him to play today and get a key interception, I think they were only up 14-0, and he got that pick, unfucking believable by him, And then, Jordan Love, let me say, they took the coin toss today. They won the toss, and they said, we want the fucking ball. We're going to score, a la Matt Hasselbeck. But he took the ball. The Green Bay received the ball, and they proceed to go 12 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown, and milk up 7 minutes off the clock to start the game. What a fucking drive, by Jordan Love, by this offensive line, who I don't give them enough credit. The offensive line, they played like shit the first half of the season, but they have since dialed it in. All those boys, Zach Tom, John Runyon, Josh Myers, Elton Jenkins, Rasheed Walker, they have dialed it in, and they're playing as a unit, and they're just playing great football. And that leads me to the man that I in my heart, I believe, Aaron fucking Jones, the MVP of the game, the fourth straight 100-yard rushing game in a row. And in my opinion, he is a Hall of Famer. Yes, I said it. He's a fucking Hall of Fame running back. But I know how the business works. He will not be in the Hall of Fame because, this year he missed 8 games, because of injury. And then also, ironically, the irony of this whole thing is Mike McCarthy, his first year in the league, didn't refuse to rush Aaron Jones. He just kept, wanting to let other guys get touches, and he would refuse to let Aaron Jones touch the ball. He then gets fired, and even with Matt coming in, he's been a focal point of the offense, and Aaron Rodgers has always, really tried to get Aaron Jones involved in the game, but he's just always been very underutilized. I've always made this reference. Until the Packers realize Aaron Jones is a fucking superstar, he'll never live up to his potential. And I've always felt, although Aaron Jones has had great games, he had a season where he had 18 rushing touchdowns, they've still always underutilized him because, they've always had great quarterback play and they got to feed a bunch of guys. So I get how it can be difficult at times, but he is a Hall of Fame talented running back, but he won't get in because all the things I just mentioned, he doesn't get the ball enough. But when he does, he is a slasher and dasher and, he's a great everything. He's a great blocker, which is very key for Green Bay Packers running backs. You need to be able to block. And he made some great blocks today on Micah Parsons. And he's a great pass catcher. He makes incredible swing pass catches, out of the backfield that you need from a running back. And then obviously he can get vertical, in between the guards and the tackles and the centers. He's just the ultimate running back. And, he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, but he is a Hall of Fame type running back when he gets the ball. He's the Nick Collins of this generation for Packers fans, because Nick Collins, in my opinion, is a Hall of Famer, but he won't be because he's always been injury prone. He's that type of player, comparison. Aaron Jones today, what a fucking game by him. Aaron Jones, 21 carries, 118 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Let me remind you, 3 touchdowns. The man is, for whatever reason, a Dallas Cowboy killer. Had a 4 touchdown game against him. I think he has like 9 or 10 touchdowns in his career against him. For whatever reason, he loves going back home to Texas because he played his college ball at the University of El Paso, Texas, and he fucking scores the football. He's absolutely the key to this offense, and if I'm San Francisco, who they play next week, that's my main focus is stopping Aaron Jones. But Jordan Love, let me fucking tell you, I was not a fucking believer. I was one of the Packer fans who was fucking pissed when we drafted him. You know, coming off of the NFC Championship game, you know, the game where, ironically, San Francisco like had 180 yards untouched running, you know, and the first thing they do is they draft fucking Jordan Love with the first pick, and they traded up to get him. Man, I was so pissed about him, and he looked horrible. I think everyone agreed his first 2 years in the league, even though his first year in the league, he didn't have a full camp, like a rookie camp, because that was the COVID year, but his first 2 years in the leagues, he looked fucking garbage. Like, he looked horrible. And I'm not saying anything new, that everybody knows this. He looked horrible in his first 2 years, like, coming out of practices. He just, like, he couldn't even, like, make a throw on the net. But the man absolutely is the fucking man now. 16 for 21, 272 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns today. What? Man, how could you not root for the guy? He's just, I'm so lucky to be born when I did in the 90s, because, you know, it's just great time to be alive, to be a Packers fan, because, you know, Jordan Love's not a Hall of Famer, but he's playing like a Pro Bowler right now for sure, and, you know, maybe even like a second-team All-Pro guy type right now. Like, these last 9 games, no doubt, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And the man is just making incredible throws, like the one to Dontavian Wicks for the touchdown. If it's one to, like, Romeo Doubs, he's just making these crazy, like, I know he's like a 4th year in the league, but this is his first year starting, his first year, you know, looking at defenses, really studying, you know, each defense week to week. He's not the backup, he's the guy. This is his first year really doing that, and he's making incredible throws that, like, these guys that are like 6, 7, 8 years in the league are making. Like, you know, I hate people that like make comparisons to, like, you know, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, because I don't like to be like that. But he really is playing like such at an elite level. Like, he's making these throws that are like how are you? Like, he's playing like an experience, like a 10-year vet on his first year starting as the number 1 quarterback. It's fucking unbelievable, and I'm fucking here for it, because, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really fucking tough next week to beat the San Francisco 49ers. You got Brock Purdy, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got Deebo Samuel, you got fucking Nick Bosa, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got all these guys, and it's gonna be you got Kyle Shanahan, you know, Matt LaFleur's fucking his mentor. It's going to be a fucking tough game in San Francisco. They've beaten the Packers 4 times in the last 13 years in the playoffs. Like, it's going to be a fucking hard game. They're coming off a week, you know, rest, but who fucking wants to play these guys right now? Who wants to play the fucking Green Bay Packers right now? Like, I bet I'd be willing to bet that they'd want to play fucking any of the other teams, Detroit, Rams, Philly, Tampa Bay. They'd rather play them than the Packers, because the Packers are playing so hot right now. It's so exciting as a fan. And like I mentioned, you know, playoff wins are just fucking, the vibes are immaculate. And this team is starting to feel like feels like a team of destiny. I'm just going to say it. You know, I think I'm not 100% that they could be like a Super Bowl team, but if next week is the biggest key. If they can fucking win next week, you best believe we're going to fucking try to go all the way. And, you know, I just can't, I'm really at a loss for words, and I'm happy. I'm just so happy how this team went. Luke Musgrave, 3 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. What a fucking big return for him. Happy for him to get a nice touchdown grab today. You know, he was wide open. You know, Jordan was getting pressure pretty bad and threw a great lob pass for Luke Musgraves, and he was able to make a move and get into the end zone. Really happy for him. Dontavian Wicks, like I said, 2 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. You know, man continues to improve each and every week. Tucker Kraft doing the dirty work, making the key blocks, and also had 2 catches for 15 yards. You know, Christian Watson, I want to talk about him. He was another guy that was 50-50 coming into this game. And he came back today, had a nice grab. You know, he had 1 catch for 9 yards, but you know, that's all you really want. You just want him to, you know, get his mojo back, and maybe next week he could get a fucking breakout game. That's what's so fun about this receiving group is these guys can really, whoever it is, if it's Romeo Doubs, if it's Tucker Kraft, if it's Bo fucking Melton, who the fuck is Bo Melton? You know, if it's, you know, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, all these guys, Jaden Reed, like, and let me mention that to you. Jaden Reed today didn't have a catch today, and he's been probably our best receiver this year. Just wait till that guy gets fucking going too. That's why I mentioned last week, how do you, if you're a defensive coordinator, you know, obviously you're trying to stop Aaron Jones. That's probably priority number 1, but how do you try to stop these other guys? Because these 5 different, you know, these 5 receivers that they got, they're all so different, and they all got a different style of play than the other guy. It's just so freaking fun. You got Romeo Doubs, who had 6 catches, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns, or 1 touchdown today. Like, going into this game, I had him on number 5 on my depth chart. Yeah, he was a 4th-round pick last year, and, you know, he's probably the number 2 guy going into the season, but going into this game, I had him as receiver 5, you know, behind Bo Melton, Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed. And he came today, 6 catches, 151 yards. Like, you know, it's so fun. This offense is so fucking fun. And, you know, the Aaron Rodgers years, the offenses were amazing. You know, basically because, you know, how Aaron played. He's an incredible football player, and his receivers came to bat for him. But this offense is really freaking fun right now, and it really makes you think, like, is this how Matt LaFleur's offense is really, like, this is how Matt LaFleur's offense is going to be, it's how it's supposed to run? Like, it just makes you think, you know, it's just, and I always forget to give him credit, but Matt fucking LaFleur, man, he came with his fucking shovel and pail today. He is the fucking man. Like, it's so cool not have to go into the off season worrying about your head coach, seeing if he's the guy, your quarterback, see if it's the guy, you know, your receivers, your tight ends. You don't have to worry about any of those things unless if you really want to, which I could see Green Bay doing crazy shit like that, but you don't have to worry about any of those things because they've all answered for you. And those were 5 key questions going into this offseason, going into this season, was all those things. Like, were those guys going to step up? Are those, you know, how many people, you know, bash the Green Bay Packers for not signing a veteran wide receiver, or, you know, or yeah, just basically giving Jordan Love any guys, like, because they needed guys. There's a bunch of no-namers, a bunch of first and second year, and credit to Matt and credit to Goody for sticking with this plan. I don't know if it was lucky or, you know, they really figured out, like, oh, these guys are going to be key pieces for us, but they, credit to fucking them, because they're fucking doing great shit now. And now let's think about it. This group right here, this is probably the worst that they're gonna fucking ever get. Like, this, they're only gonna get better. They're only gonna stack more bricks. And I'm being super optimistic right now. I probably sound like a fucking asshole, but it's so exciting as a fan, and it makes you really think, is this really, they've only been together for, like, you know, 8 months, and that's it. None of these guys have seen each other prior to this year. And so this is the worst they're going to be, and they're only going to get better for years to come. So, man, what a fucking day. I want to quickly talk about the defense, because Joe Barry is Joe Barry, is going to be the fucking defensive coordinator next year. I cannot believe I'm saying that after. If you would have told me that 3 weeks ago, I would have said you're fucking crazy, because for whatever it is, the defense is getting a lot of fucking pressure. That defensive line is doing great. Preston Smith, another sack today. Devondre Campbell had a sack today. Keyshawn Nixon had a great, because of Joe Barry dialing up a good blitz for Keyshawn, got a sack today on Dak Prescott. I mentioned the Savage pick six, the Jair Alexander interception. And then also your first rounder from this year, 12th overall, Lucas Van Ness, got another sack today. That's just another great thing that you love to see, is you got so many young pieces and they're all making great plays, and even your veterans, they're just like, they're doing what they're supposed to do, is make key plays for this defense. And they had 5 sacks on the Bears last year. They had 4 sacks today, and they held, just doing great. And even the offensive line, they held Micah Parsons to his career low, only 1 pressure. I believe, they held Micah Parsons to 1 pressure this whole game, career low. Like, shout out to this fucking offense. Shout out to this defense. I just cannot believe that happened. Like, it's just crazy. I'm curious, like, what, if the rumor is Seattle is going to be getting, wants to get Dan Quinn, but I wonder if that game affects anything like that, because the Packers put up a 48 burger on them, like, on that defense. Like, they basically did whatever they want. So it's just crazy. I feel for Mike McCarthy, because, that's my guy. I love Mike McCarthy. But he's definitely getting fired tomorrow, so shout out to him. Oh, man, what a fucking game. It's one of the best seasons ever, as a fan, because things I've always mentioned, it's been a fucking roller coaster, with the losses and the wins, but we're going to the divisional round next week against the number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers. I do not expect them to win this football game, to be honest. I could see them getting blown out for sure, but let me just say, if this offense can do that to that Dallas Cowboys defense, it's going to be tough. But if they can do that again next week, man, it's going to be fucking awesome. I cannot fucking wait. I just hope Matt LaFleur comes out and fucking wants to beat his fucking mentor. It's the Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader thing. You want him to beat his master, and I hope Matt comes out and fucking looks Kyle Shanahan in the eye and fucking outplays him, because Kyle Shanahan, who in my opinion is like my second favorite coach in the NFL, he's gonna fucking bring his sack and his lunch, for that playoff game, because they got a bunch of dogs over there and they're gonna be expected to win. But it's gonna be a fucking game next week, and I can't fucking wait. And I appreciate everybody who comes and listens to these. I can't preface how much it means to me that anybody even watches these. So if you guys could just hit like on this video, I'd really, really appreciate it. And then if you want to leave a comment or have any questions for me, I'd love to answer them. So on that note, if you want to hit subscribe on my channel, that'd be great, because it'd be good for the channel. It'd be good for this video, and then it'd be good for me right here. So until then, go Pack, go.